Amy Arndt. If you guys do not know her and do not follow her, click the follow button. She's precious. She's one of those people that you feel like is your like the girl next door. Like you just feel like you could be friends with her. Like she in like real life, you know, in face to face. Like she's just a very like-minded person. She's like her feed when I'm like she's doing stuff with her kids. I'm like she's just a real person. She's just a sweet mama. She feels very like I'm like her house is probably so peaceful, and she has 3 little boys and 1 sweet little girl, which I have the flip-flop, Amy. I have 1 boy and 3 girls, but she's got an amazing health testimony, and she's going to share it with us. So Amy, go ahead. Let's see if let's see. I don't see her on here yet. I thought I did. Oh, I see her here.
Yeah, sorry, I like lost service for a second, so I'm moving. I'm walking to my car. Okay, thank you so much. That was so sweet. My name is Amy, and I am a former teacher and a mom to 4 sweet young kids. And I'm also a type 1 diabetic. And that really is where my story with Plexus starts. So 4 years ago, I had my sweet little Lucy. She's our only girl. And my pregnancy with her was so hard. And both my boys had really easy pregnancies. After we had our second, we went through this really stressful season in life. And during that season, I had like chronic UTIs, like back to back to back. I was put on antibiotics for a year. We're going through a lot of stress, and stress affects your body so much, so much. And so we moved into a new house and got pregnant with Lucy. It was very unexpected, but oh my goodness, so grateful for her every single day. But my body was just not in a good place to be pregnant. Being type 1 diabetic takes pregnancy to a whole new level. It makes it much more complicated. And so with her, during my pregnancy, I gained the most weight by far. She was almost 10 pounds. And a lot of times diabetic big because of blood sugar imbalance. And so my blood sugar with her the entire time was just up and down, so much so that my body developed like severe insulin resistance. Usually once you have the baby, or with my boys, I had the babies, and then my blood sugar started leveling out again. With Lucy, it was like complete opposite. And I had her, and my insulin resistance just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it got to the point where I was waking up every single night at 2:00 in the morning, and my blood sugar would be in the 20s and 30s. If you know anything about blood sugar, like that's super dangerous. And so I'd wake up and get a snack to raise my blood sugar. I'd wake up the next morning, my blood sugar would be in the 300, 400, 500s, super high. I did this for months. So on top of the blood sugar imbalance, I had a brand new baby, a kindergartner. My oldest had just started kindergarten, and then a wild 3-year-old boy. And so life was just so hard. And honestly, if I look back on that season, like I really don't remember that much because it was just so difficult. And it just took everything in me just to make it day after day. And so I remember watching people post about Plexus. And this is why I told my team, it's so important to like, just continue sharing your story. Even when you think people aren't watching, just keep sharing because people are watching. I have been watching Abby post. She'd been posting about blood sugar balance. She'd been posting about the business, all these little things that I kind of rolled my eyes at, but like really, I was paying attention and really wanting what she had to offer and what she was talking about. And so I'll never forget, we went to Disney World and we were walking around Magic Kingdom one day. My blood sugar was in the 400s and we could not get it to come down. It was so bad. Like we were thinking about going to the hospital. Like I was miserable. We got it balanced. We got it down. And came back to Birmingham. And I was like, I don't care what we do. Like, we have to figure this out. We had already tried a different type of insulin. I was on an insulin pump. We went back to insulin shots. Like, we did the whole thing and nothing was working. And so one day I was like, forget it. I'm going to text Abby. I'm going to get this figured out. We're going to try this paint and drink. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm going to give it a try. So I sent her a message on Facebook. And fun fact, like, I did not know Abby at all. I knew her sister-in-law in high school. But I sent her this random message like, hi, you don't know me, but I've been following your story. And told her kind of what was going on. She called me on the phone and kind of talked to me about the products, what they could do for me, money back guarantee, the whole shebang. And I was like, yes, like whatever it is, that's what I want. And so I started on the Triplex, and within 2 weeks, that overnight low completely went away. Like I was no longer waking up 2 o'clock in the morning with my blood sugar in the 20s and the 30s. Once that overnight low went away, my daytime highs went away as well. That's how blood sugar balance works. Like lows create highs, really high highs create lows. And so once that one thing was fixed, the rest of my day got so much better. And of course, it wasn't like an overnight, it didn't happen overnight, but over time and pretty quickly, like it started getting better and better each and every day. Once my blood sugar became balanced, my energy came back. Y'all, I was nursing around the clock with a 5-year-old and 3-year-old boys. And I had energy. Like I would wake up in the morning and I wasn't exhausted. Like I could actually do my day and live life with my kids and go to all the things that a kindergarten mom wants to go to. And I just felt better and better and better. My energy started getting better. My UTIs completely went away. I have not had one in 4 years. I had really bad migraines during my pregnancy with her. That completely went away. Like I just started feeling not only better than I did pre-pregnancy with Lucy, but I felt better than I had in 10 years, like I did in my 20s. So fast forward a little bit, and I just had our 4th baby, Miller, in September. And praise Jesus, had the healthiest pregnancy out of all 4. You would kind of think like your 4th pregnancy, that's going to be your hardest. You're going to be most exhausted. I was 10 years older than when I had my first baby, but it was by far my healthiest pregnancy. My endocrinologist could not believe how healthy I was because he had been with me through the other pregnancies as well. And he was like, whatever you're doing, you've got to keep on doing because this is phenomenal. Usually my insulin resistance starts around 20 weeks because that's when the babies really start growing. But I didn't have it at all this time. I had a super healthy baby, my 4th C-section. I was up walking around the hospital room that same day. Like once the meds worked out of my system, like I was up walking around and just felt amazing. Haven't missed a beat. Of course, you have days. Everybody has days. But overall, like I'm feeling the best that I can. And I love that I get to plug in with my kids every single day. We go to the park, we do crafts. Like we're at baseball games late at night. I'm still, nursing all night long. My 4th baby loves to eat. He is still up like every 3 hours. But I'm getting to do all the things because I feel so great. So anyways, I can go on and on about all the things that's done for my family, my husband, my kids, but that's just a little bit of my story. But if you have questions about diabetes, the products I took, any of those things, like I'm an open book, please just send me a message and let me know.
I love that, Amy. So thank you so much for sharing. Like, and I've been watching all of these messages come in. Like you, like are an open book. You are one plexus. Like everyone's like, I love it. We love it. And they are so. I think it's so fun to watch people rejoice with you, to watch people cheer you on and get excited, but also for you to just pour belief into so many people. It's so like. It's so our culture of our, not even just our team, but like our whole business is just to really help each other out. So I love it. Okay. I am getting asked, what Slim do you use?
I actually use the microbiome. A lot of diabetics use hunger control and have better success. I do not. I have better success with the microbiome.
Okay. See, good to know. Everybody is so different, which is such a great thing that we have both of them, that you really can pick which one works for you.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate it. Okay, next up we have Alexis Terry. Alexis is going to share about the business a little bit, just about what it's meant to her. She is a wife and a mom of 4. We were just together this morning in Sunday school. That's how we know each other, is from church. She's an educator and a consultant. She's the author of the book, Real Love, Strategies for Reaching Students When They See No Way Out, which is incredible. She's a doctoral student pursuing a PhD. She was actually pursuing it while we were all together on a retreat just recently. So she is like doing both of them at the same time. She's doing it through Texas A&M University, and she is doing her PhD in urban education. So this is not to say this girl has all the time in the world to try to do Plexus. So I'm really excited for her to share with you why she is finding time in her day to do the business. So Alexis, we are so excited for you to share.
Thank you. No, I actually do not have all the time in the world. And I think that's what makes my story unique as to why I'm still choosing to move forward with my business. So my background is education, and I am a secondary teacher. I left the classroom full time back in 2019, right before the pandemic madness happened, and I went into the consultant world. And so from there, that is when, after I had baby number 4, I was just not the mom that God created me to be. I was fatigued all the time. My thyroid level was just up and down and off the chart. I was very grouchy. Yeah, just all these bad things. And Andrea in church, she always either, I followed her because we're in Bible study, and she's either always talking about this pink drink or sharing it. And so I was like, okay, let me, like everybody else, okay, let me see what this is finally about. If it can give me energy, then I want that energy. I deserve to be the mom that God created me to be. So I started the product back in late August, or no, July, early August, but I wasn't really consistent with it. It got to a point where I had my subscription on. I kept getting all of these orders coming in. And I was like, okay, I have to do something with this, or my husband's going to kill me because I'm spending all of this money, and I need to use the product. So I started using the product, and I started noticing, like, man, I feel good. I really feel good. So I started noticing that I wasn't sleeping all the time. I had more energy. I had more mental clarity, and my productivity level just increased. I was getting stuff done, and that's important when you're a mom. You're building a consulting business. You're a PhD student, and so my transition into the business side came when I'm taking my pink drink everywhere with me, or people are like, "Oh my God, you look great. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, Plexus." And they're like, "Okay, where do I get this from?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll give you Andrea's number." And they're, "Okay, what's this pink drink?" "Oh, I'll give you Andrea's number." And I said, "Wait, why am I giving everybody Andrea's number when I can share it?" And I kind of felt like I wasn't confident. I really didn't know the business enough to share it. But the point that I was missing is that people wanted the product because of me and because of the results that I was having. And so this point came into my head, is that you may not know everything, but give them what you do know. And when I started giving people what I do know, what I know has worked for me, what I know has worked for Andrea, what I know has worked for Melissa, what I know has worked for Lisa, and the people that I've connected with, then that's when I started being able to really show up from an authentic place and share. And so somebody told me, never stop sharing. And so I just kept on sharing, and I kept on sharing, and I kept on sharing. But when I really caught the vision was when we had the Mountains and Mindset retreat. And so I had the opportunity to really get in connection and community with people who were working this business. This business wasn't working them. They were working this business. And not only were they being blessed health-wise, but they were being blessed financial-wise. And the part that clicked to me was, when you are hearing that people are not only transforming lives, but they are making more than what I made as a teacher in a whole year, it clicked in my head, what do you have to lose? Like, really, at the end of the day, what do you really have to lose? If I can make in 1 month more than I'm making in a whole year as a teacher, what do I have to lose? Like, it's either going to come this way. One, you share the product and somebody loves the product and you're building your business, or you share the product, they don't like the product, and they get their money back. What do they have to lose, right? I came into this for $19.95. I go spend that at McDonald's with my kids. So what do I have to lose? And when I realized I really have nothing to lose in this situation, but so much to gain if I really made, like, I don't have to worry about writing another book. I can show up and like, literally, this business has given me the confidence to show up and work, knowing that this allows me to do my PhD from a place of peace. I don't have to worry about, oh my God, I have to work still to finance this PhD. I have to work to still take care of a family. But no, this is my business. I'm sharing with what I love. I'm sharing what I know, and what do I have to lose? And so that's what got me here and why I love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alexa. I got goosebumps while you were talking. I love how you said, share what you love and share what you know. Like, that's really what it's all about, right? And when you were talking about like making more in a month, or the possibility of making more in a month than you made an entire year, like, seriously, goosebumps all over. Isn't it just amazing what we have here, this opportunity? So next I'm gonna introduce my good friend Tina. She is spunky. She is passionate. She was a mama to 3. This girl has grit. She is just an incredible, incredible woman. And I can't wait for you to hear her health testimony.
Thank you so much. I have goosebumps from that last story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I literally do. Like Wesley said, my name is Tina Walterstorff. I've been with Plexus for about 4 years, mom of 3 kids, ages 12 to 25. My husband and I have been married 27 years, and it's so awesome to say that. That makes me seem old, right? I don't know. Anyways, I'm still young. I'm in my mid-40s. I'm going to just stick to that for a while. Okay. So anyways, before Plexus, I was running around with my head cut off. I was teaching 18 dance classes a week. I was loving my dance studio. I just adored the kids, loved doing what I was doing. And then I also got into fitness. I was a fitness trainer and competitor for a few years, about 4 or 5 years. I ate super healthy. So I was like the girl who looked healthy on the outside, but I was really struggling with a lot of different things on the inside. I was really easily irritated. I had zero patience that now I know were really associated to a lot of hormone imbalances and things like that. I really struggled with low energy. I went to the doctor so many times just trying to figure out why I felt so bad. And all of my blood work would come back normal, but I still felt really bad. And they would tell me, you've got IBS, you've got, obviously you're full of crap because your x-ray shows it, because I was constipated and things like that. And I had a lot of inflammation. So that kind of scared me to have a lot of inflammation. I would wake up super puffy in my face, and my fingers just were super puffy in the middle of the night. And the energy was probably the one thing that really bothered me probably the most, the constipation, the bloating and things like that. But I would get home from work and I would just need a nap, or I would need to nap during the day before I went and taught dance classes. I just felt like I wasn't living. I felt like I wasn't showing up. It was really normal for me to have 3 or 4 diet sodas a day just to perk myself up. My dance students would bring me 6 packs of pop. And they all knew I loved my favorite, Diet Coke or Diet Dr. Pepper or something like that. But like I said, I was bloated all the time. I was constipated all the time. I lived on Miralax and stool softeners. My husband would run to Walmart at midnight one time. We were visiting family out of town and I was miserable. And so that was kind of a regular thing, like, go get me something. I was so miserable. Every year, like clockwork, I would end up with a sinus infection and laryngitis, another round of antibiotics and things like that. And I felt like being a fitness trainer, being in the dance studio, I felt like I should just be feeling so much better. And so many times my mood was just yucky too, but nobody really probably knew it except my closest friends or family. I would just put on a fake smile and get through the day. It was really, really clear to me that diet and exercise was not enough. And I tried a lot of different supplements. In fact, I tried 18 different probiotics out there on the market, from prescriptions to ones you put in the freezer to you name it. I tried it, 18 different probiotics. So I felt like I was on the right track, trying a whole bunch of different supplements, but my cabinet was full and nothing was actually helping me. When I saw Plexus, I saw the words root healing, and that for me caught my eye. So I would say I was definitely hopeful, but a little bit skeptical. But I had a really scary heart scare over a period of a couple years, and about 6 months before I started Plexus, that really, really got me. And so as I started Plexus, I had seen a video online one night at 2 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. And I was like, I have to get this in my body. It just looks so different to me. I started Plexus, my blood sugar started to balance, my gut health started to improve, inflammation definitely went way down, and I just really started to feel alive. I started pooping, hello. But I'll never forget the day that I didn't need a nap when I got home from work. That is game changer, to not be so tired and dragging. I was suddenly waking up before my alarm. I was ready to take on the day. I stopped craving soda. It didn't taste good anymore. My mood started to lift, and suddenly, unexpectedly, about 5 months in, I didn't have PMS anymore. And my older daughter asked me if that whole thing had just disappeared out of my life. And I said, no, but PMS is a big deal. And it made me realize that my entire family wanted to just like leave the house when that time of the month came, because she said, well, we were all kind of plotting and we thought that time of the month, like that was all gone for you. Nope, it's still here. But that's been a massive change for me too. I just started to feel happier, getting better sleep, restless leg syndrome cleared up. I stopped craving sugar all the time. And guess what? My heart health, my heart doctor loves Plexus. My prescription now is just to keep on my Plexus supplements. And I have a clean bill of health with my heart. And I won't go into like all of those details of that, but it's a very huge thing to me. It's a miracle. So I think right now there's just a lot going on in the world, lots of stress, especially in 2020. I don't know where I would be, to be honest with you, without these supplements during these really, really tough times with stress. So I do want to just put really quickly, I closed my dance studio after 12 years, and I didn't think that I would find something that I would ever be passionate about again. In fact, I felt kind of empty. In the meantime, I worked as a school librarian, but I want to say, because of Plexus, we are debt-free. I retired my full-time job, and we have travel experiences that we never, ever would have had. And I'm telling you that we lived in a lot of debt. I won't even give you the number right now, but we lived very tight and for a long, long time. And so to say that today is just a huge, huge blessing. So this is a double answer to my prayers. And I also have my passion back. I'm so passionate about helping people and sharing. And I could cry right now, but I won't. So I'm gonna thank you for letting me share, you guys.
Well, you about made me cry. Thank you so much, Tina. I love the reminder that just because somebody looks healthy on the outside doesn't mean that they're healthy on the inside. They might have things going on that you have no idea. So this is why we share with everybody. We can't judge, a book by its cover, right? I also love that I don't love this, like it makes me sad, but you were doing all the right things, right? You were the exercise, eating healthy, all the things, and trying different probiotics, doing all the things that you thought were right, and it just wasn't enough. Sorry if you can hear the toilet flushing. My son just went to the bathroom. Real life here, guys. Like, I shut my bedroom door and they still come in. So, boy, mom over here. All right. So I love your story, Tina. Thank you so much. Next, we're going to go to Jillian. Jillian is a super precious friend of mine. She is a single mama to her beautiful daughter, Ashanti. She is one of the sweetest, most beautiful souls I've ever met in my life. And she's a busy, busy mom. She'll probably tell you a little bit about this, but when she started Plexus, she was working as a travel agent. She owns her own massage therapy business. She also does like pinup modeling for a good cause, which is super awesome. So she's a busy, busy mama, but she has made time for this and it has paid off for her. So she is going to share some of her business testimony with us tonight.
Thank you, Leslie. You're so sweet. So my name is Jillian. I am a single mom. I have a daughter that is 8 years old. When I started, she was about 4, and I knew I was not being the mom to her that I wanted to be. I was wearing like the busy badge of honor, like using that as just an excuse for not doing things that were important to me or like good for me, like taking care of myself. I was really living like direct deposit to direct deposit, like including with my massage business. So I was just, strapped really thin. So I just felt like I had to work super hard because that was what was modeled for me as a child, that like the harder you work, the more successful you are. But like that was never the case. Like we never had enough, it seemed. And with me being a single mom, her dad doesn't give me child support. I'm somebody that really avoids confrontation, so I don't ask him for like anything. I would rather work my butt off and earn it myself than ask somebody who is not very kind to me for help. So when I first started, like I was so busy and I couldn't afford life. Like I didn't feel like I could breathe. I'm a massage therapist and I was a travel agent, and I was working from home. So that was like an awesome thing about my job. But it was never like I was never making enough, and I was always working overtime and always taking time away from my daughter, like to work so I could earn some money to pay for our bills and stuff. I also I'm the treasurer for a pinup charity. We raise money for military and veterans charities, so that always takes up like my weekend between that or having a massage client. So I was always busy and like doing stuff, and I was wanting to just be a good human. But my patience, like I had zero patience. I couldn't sleep at night, so I was always exhausted. My favorite thing that I noticed, like when I first started taking the products, was like the first night I slept in like 4 years since having my daughter. I could not get a good like night's sleep, and it didn't matter. Like if I would sleep like 10 hours a day, I would still wake up exhausted. But I definitely did not have that much time to sleep. I think I was sleeping maybe like 3 hours a day, which was not healthy, but I just couldn't sleep. So just being exhausted, and then I'd have to like take a nap right before I'd cook dinner, and it was just not a fun place to be. And I just knew that there had to be so much more to life than what I was getting. So I started taking the products, and I had been seeing things on Facebook, like from my cousin, that she was able to pay for her car and her mortgage just from her paycheck from Plexus. And I was like, whoa, I was super skeptical. So it took me a year to actually jump on board. So like I was seeing post after post, of things that it was helping her with. And I was just like, wow, but I'm not her. Like I had a huge, comparison mentality, and just, I wasn't in a good place mentally. And I didn't think I was worthy of success at all. So it was just something that I was kind of really hesitant to start. But when I got my first paycheck of just like $25, I was like in shock because I didn't know what I did. I was like, I didn't do anything to earn this, and my cousin was like, oh, you signed somebody up, you got like a bonus, and then you're going to get more money. I was like, what? And I wasn't even planning on starting a business. It was something that I was really turned off by network marketing to begin with. So that was like one reason why I tried all the probiotics at Sprouts and Whole Foods before I jumped in. But I was floored when I started making money. And the first time that I was able to put my daughter in sports, I cried because that was something I didn't think I was going to be able to do. Sorry. That was just something that meant so much to me. And I started to be able to have a better relationship with her, which has meant the world to me. I've been able to pay off debt. The only debt I have now is my house, which is pretty incredible for a single mom. I was able to walk away from my corporate travel agent job in the middle of a pandemic. I was able to say, bye, thanks for the 13 years that I was there, the incredible trips, and this just isn't like satisfying me anymore, and I'm not feeling fulfilled. And this business has matched my income, so I'm gonna run with this. Like I'm gonna take a chance and try something different. I have gained so much confidence just through this business alone. I'm not sure, like I do modeling. And I can tell you, like, even as a model, I still have self-confidence issues. I still have self-worth issues. And like diving into the Plexus business and the Plexus community has changed so much of that for me. Like I've learned so much about me and just how to push through my fears and how to push through just limiting beliefs and blocks that were there for so long. And now I believe in myself. I know that I can do this, and I know that anyone can if they put their mind to it and like choose to believe in themselves. I never felt like my life was a choice until I started choosing to take care of myself, until I started choosing to put the right things in my body, until I started choosing more for me. And like that was all because of Plexus. Now I realize that like it all started by a choice to try something different, to take a chance and just realize that my life is my choice. I get to choose, and I choose to do better. And I just like, that's the hope that I share with so many people, because I suffered in silence for way too long. And I know so many other people do. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing, because so many people just suffer inside their head, and it's, they put on a brave face, but that's not what's really going on. So like, continue to reach out, continue to share, and, just don't stop. So thanks for letting me share with you guys.
Thank you, Jillian. That's the first time I've ever heard your story, and I just really want to thank you. It is stories like yours that are exactly what I need to hear to remind myself to keep going, right? And that's why we do these belief calls. I want to, by the way, I'm Becky Page, one of the leaders on this team. I want to ask you, if you're not naked or you're not doing something illegal, turn your camera on. Okay, because a lot of y'all, and if you are naked, don't you dare turn that camera on. If you're on the potty, leave it off. But if you're free, I know March Madness is on. I know y'all's children's are still probably up. We did an earlier call tonight, especially for you East Coast beloved friends. Turn that camera on, because I want to talk to you for just a minute. So I interrupt this belief call to speak a word of encouragement to all of you, as if this hasn't been encouraging enough. Have you guys heard of the athlete Roger Bannister? Anyone heard his name? Look, Wesley Bishop right away. Yeah. Andrea, I know you have. I know who you're married to. Okay, tell me in the comments if you know, what is Roger Bannister famous for? If you know. Y'all, I don't care if you don't have makeup on. I'm sweaty, I promise. I do have mascara on. Okay, there, Jill Halligan got it right away, and Wesley, yes. Roger Bannister, back in 1954, broke the 1 mile time. He was able to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Now, let me tell you how long it had been, right? It had been since 1886, back when we started time trials, before anyone in the world was ever able to run the mile in less than 4 minutes. So let's talk about like how your brain works. If it's never been done, and if you've never known it was possible, your brain tends to say, that's just not possible. That's how we're made, okay? So there's something right now for you in this business and in this world of health where your brain is saying, well, that's great for other people, but that's not possible for me. And I want to tell you about a personal story for me. 1 year ago, we all remember it very well, because 1 year ago, the world had just shut down, right? And I had, right before the world shut down, my very last time to be on a plane, I had flown to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I had the privilege of going to Plexus headquarters and training some of our jewels. And I left there just so full of belief and joy and purpose. And I knew 2020 was going to be a great year. And like 1 week later, it was like, ah! And I couldn't work out. And my team, like probably a lot of y'all, everyone just froze. Suddenly, no one wanted to share anything on social media, because it was like, oh my gosh, how do I talk about this on social media? And so I and my team spent the whole month of March 2020 frozen. And we thought, how do I talk to people about this business when people's businesses are getting shut down, their brick and mortar is closing, people are terrified, people are experiencing phenomenal stress. And the message was, okay, you know what? We just shouldn't share. We should just hunker down and watch a lot of Tiger King and get food delivered and then wash those bags right away. I mean, y'all remember, y'all know March was a traumatic month, right? We collectively experienced some worldwide trauma. But at the same time, in Plexus, one of my really good friends who had been stuck at a rank and stuck at a place for a long time while other people passed her team, She called me at the end of March and she said, Becky, I want you to know that I'm getting ready to have my very first jewel and I'm going to go diamond this month. And I was like, this month, like the month of the whole world blowing up. And she not only did that, but she blew up Plexus, not just her team, other teams, because some people, while my mindset had like hit a brick wall, hers hadn't. And she was running the 3-minute and 59-second mile while I was strolling, okay? And the only reason I share that is the very next month, I interviewed her for my team and people started to see, oh, it's possible. Because when Roger Bannister in May of 1954, when he ran that sub 4-minute mile, I want you to know that 46 days later, somebody did it again. And not only that, but since then, over 1,000 people have run a sub 4-minute mile. Do you know why? Because they saw somebody else do it and they believed that it was possible for them. And so what I want you to hear in these stories tonight is it's possible for you. And it is time for you to decide to get unstuck and to do something in this post-trauma season where you shift your mindset from, I talked to someone this week who said, I just hate asking people for help. And I was like, friend, we're not asking people for help. We are offering the hand of help to people. Flip that switch, okay? And I just want to say that back to you. So here's a question that I want you to write down. If you're near a piece of paper and if you're in a bath, don't you worry about it. I want you to write down, this is a flip of the why, because sometimes we'll say your why should make you cry and you need to know your why. Why are you doing this? And you do need to know that. But I want to go one step deeper, especially for those of you guys who are people of faith, because this is what I had to ask myself. What is God up to? Why does he have me involved in Plexus right now? Because is it to make money and help people find better health? Yes. But I've also believed it is also to get me to stop being afraid of people's opinions. It is to get me to stop being selfish and self-focused, but to really, truly help other people live their dreams. And it's also just to help me focus on other people's needs instead of constantly thinking of myself. So I want you to spend some time with that. While you're thinking about that, and by the way, if you feel like you know that answer, then please do tell us in the comments. But now I want to pass to Andrea because we get to hear from a jewel tonight. And I want y'all to hear, when you hear a testimony of a jewel, what I don't want you to hear is, it must be nice for them. They get that car and get those trips or whatever. I want you to hear that it is hard and that you are capable of doing hard things. So I'm going to pass to Andrea.
Thanks, Becky. And you know, what's interesting is we all need belief poured into us, whether we are at a top rank of the company or we are just starting out, we need belief poured into us. And so I want to introduce, she's actually my sister. She's also my very first ambassador, the first person that actually believed in any post that I put out there. She decided to jump all in. It was not an easy journey for her. I would say that God was gracious in a lot of her journey, but it has not been easy. But it is fun to do it with people you love, but watching her go through a divorce, watching her be a single mom, watching her almost get evicted and bills almost get turned off, has been hard through this whole journey. Then she's been remarried and a pandemic and a new baby. But it all has been worth it to watch God literally walk her through this entire journey. So Sarah, I am excited for the group to get to hear your story of belief.
Hey guys, first of all, for the record, Becky Page, I am going to go first next time because I do not want to follow all of this. Just for the record, I don't mind being first. So, hey guys, I am so excited to share a little bit about my story. This has been a long journey that started even prior to Plexus, but I hope to give you a little bit of a Clips Notes version. So I joined 7 years ago. Prior to that, I was a stay-at-home mom with just a few part-time jobs to keep me busy while my kids were at Mother's Day out. I wasn't looking for a way to supplement or replace income, but our family was like typical American family, We had no retirement plan, no savings. We pretty much lived paycheck to paycheck. And with 2 young kids, we had no savings for college. We had no money for emergency when it happened. If someone needed dental work or a tire, we were in trouble, really stressed out. And we definitely didn't have a plan B for the super stressful financial time. So I enrolled as an ambassador because I knew it was the cheapest way to get my products. And I was definitely not new to the network marketing world. In fact, I tried several others, and although they were a total flop, I knew there was potential in the industry to bring in some money. So not necessarily life-changing, but something to offset my Amazon purchases and my extra Target runs that I had no intention of making. About 5 months into the journey, I was in full momentum. I went through a really, really rough divorce that shook my world. I lost my house, I lost my car, I lost my financial security, and I was left trying to figure out how to keep my head above water with 2 young kids in tow. I continued working my business, but I needed a few extra side jobs to make ends meet. So I was working about 35 plus hours on the side, and I still couldn't manage. I found myself broke, and I had no time for the things that mattered most, which were my kids. Every other month was kind of a joke in our house of what was going to be shut off. It was the water or the lights. And I got behind on my rent. I actually got an eviction notice that told me I had 30 days before I was going to have to move out. So I called my sister, sobbing, and told her I was drowning in debt, and even more, I was about to be homeless with my kids. She reminded me that we had an amazing opportunity and I had my hands on it. And she offered to link arms with me and get me where I needed to be. So we sat down, made a plan, set some goals, and I got busy. With those goals came some hard work. But one of the beautiful things about this business is that we have a community and a support system to navigate through it all. Some of my dearest friends and my go-to prayer warriors are friends that I've made through this opportunity. I soon found myself making a 6-figure income, driving my own Lexus. Remember, I didn't have a car, and traveling to Hawaii, Disney, and so many other amazing adventures with my kids. The biggest blessing, if I'm being honest with you, though, has been being able to become debt-free. To feel financial peace was something I had longed for, and I finally felt like I could breathe. I eventually bought my first house as a single mom, and that was honestly something I never even dreamed could be a reality. I barely got through high school and I had no college education, so how this was my reality was beyond even my own understanding. I sold that same house a year later, and I packed up my family and we moved to Austin, where I live now with my amazing husband of the last 2 years. We have a 1-year-old son and my 2 older kids living with us. When I met my husband, here's a little pivot. When I met my husband, he had spent over 20 years in the bar industry, anywhere from a bar back to a bartender and to a bar owner. We live currently in one of the largest live music capitals in the world, in Austin. His job was unshakable. He had a 401k, insurance, job security, all the things. And when people were ready to socialize or celebrate, they went to the bars. When people were struggling or down, they went to the bars. Then COVID happened. The entire world that he knew of 20 years was now non-existent. We were left wondering, what next? In the past year, we have been so blessed to watch our Plexus business grow, even in a down economy. We have been blessed to have him home experiencing life as a first-time dad and being able to be a nonstop hands-on dad with quality time with our son. We have been blessed to also get him started in a new career in a completely different line of work as a realtor, fulfilling his own passions and giving him flexibility. If you don't know, becoming a realtor isn't cheap, and having the ability to make that decision together without financial stress looming over us has been amazing. To be able to support him in his dreams as he follows his own calling is an answer to my prayers. He's spent years as my biggest cheerleader, and now I have the ability to do the same thing for him. I remember just the other day, we were talking about this, and he said, babe, without your Plexus business, none of this that we're doing or living would have been possible. The pandemic for us was different than most. It was a huge blessing in disguise. We are so incredibly blessed to have a home-based business that has flourished through it all. I know more than ever what an incredible company we work for as I continue to stay at home and love on my 3 babies, while also supporting and helping my husband venture into his own dreams and making those his own reality. 7 years ago, as I clicked that enroll button that started my journey, I had no clue the lives I would be able to impact and the people I would be able to serve. My journey hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it. So if I can give you one word of advice, don't compare where you are to where anybody else is. Envision your biggest dreams, draw your line in the sand, and get busy working hard to get there. So thank you guys for listening to my story.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, it really is incredible if you think about like so many of us all on this call, all at different ranks. The second you hit that enroll button and then you start telling anybody's story to anybody else, you literally are changing lives, and that goes down like infinity, like 15, 20 levels deep. It can go, it can go out as wide and down as deep. And it's just incredible to think that because you were obedient, someone else's life has changed. Okay, we are about to wrap up this call, and we are going to hear from Julia Carty, and there's no one better to send us out in action than Julia herself. So,
Hi. I'm trying to see. Okay, can y'all hear me? I'm good. Rolled in here fast from church. So I feel like I'm a little overdressed for this meeting, but hey, it's okay. Baby shower and church day, so I haven't had time to change. But I am excited. And if you are not motivated to go take action, I'm like, I don't know what's going to motivate y'all, because these stories have been amazing. So I just want to thank all of you that shared your story, who are vulnerable tonight. Becky, even just sharing, sometimes I think people think us diamonds have it all together, and we can absolutely tell you we do not. And some of y'all might be laughing and be like, we know y'all don't. But it's I had to look at the calendar. We have 3 more days left in March. And that excites me, because I was like, oh, I have 3 more days to finish up this, because it's the end of the weekend. If you're like me, you had a busy weekend with family, ball games, and everything. Maybe it was busy with something else. So we're going to talk about 2 things. First thing is, I hope you have a calendar. I am an action step girl, but I'm also a planner. If you follow me on social media, I had Carty Chaos before hashtags were existent, and then it became a hashtag because we're so chaotic. So I have to be very careful, and kind of the buzzword right now is time blocking, but it really works for me. So I really want you, if you have your calendar, go ahead and bring it out. If not, I'm going to challenge you either tonight, if you can manage your time tonight, or in the morning, really time block with the next, I'm just going to say 3 days are going to look at. When are you going to give time for plexus? Okay. Because if you don't decide, or at least for me, if I don't decide when I'm going to work plexus, guess what? Life gets in the way. There's a lot of great excuses. And to be honest, I don't want to spend, and if you know me well, I'll just spend 3 days only working plexus. And that's not healthy either. So I want you to decide when you're going to work, whether it's, and where you are in this business is going to determine how much time blocking you're going to give, how many blocks you're going to give to plexus. Okay. If you're giving 8 hours to plexus, that's probably a little bit too much, but I'm not here to preach on that. So let's talk about what you need to do in your time blocking. First, free shipping. We have free shipping and dollar enrollment for the next 3 days. I can honestly tell you, sometimes I don't know what corporate's giving it to us in April, but what I do know is in the next 3 days, just like we talked about today, we can give this gift of health, this gift of this business to our friends and family for $1 and with free shipping. So when when those little thoughts want to come in your mind and say, oh, I don't want to be annoying. Oh my goodness, she ghosted me. Listen, if they have asked you about plexus, if you've had conversations back and forth, that is the big green light to say, this is the time to follow up. Okay. And I'm not going to give you scripts tonight, but I'm going to say, look through your list and figure out who you need to reach back out to, who you need to say, hey, I know we chatted about, you wanting to try my probiotic right now, $1 free shipping. This would be a great time. If for some reason this isn't a good month for you, that's fine. I'll let you know when the next sale comes around. However, I know people have different ways they want to do that, but make sure follow-up is going to be key in these next 3 days. Also, for that, I'll say content creation. I know some of us talk about that more than others, but make sure you are visible on social media these next 3 days. Tonight, you might even want to throw up a post.
get in your stories. There is no, and y'all, I am preaching to myself. There is no reason for the next 3 days, that's 3 stories because they last 24 hours, that we should not be posting or talking about free shipping and $1 joining. Because you don't know, like we heard Amy, we heard a few of them say, you have no idea who's watching you. So you're missing out. And also I would say, make sure you take the time to create a post, a good post. I'm going to say good, good's such a bad word, but a post, and just make sure it ends with a call to action. And you can end it. All our call to actions could completely be the same these next 3 days, because it's going to say, hey, you can join me for $1 and free shipping. Let's chat if you have any questions. Just make sure you're inviting people to do this with you, but stay present on social media. So in that time blocking, I'm just going to give you what I'm doing. I'm going to be focusing on follow-up and staying present on social media in my time blocking the next 3 days. Now, as a diamond, as a leader, and I know we have many leaders on here, and honestly, I feel like if you're a silver, you're a leader, okay? We also need to think, how can we encourage our team? And our goals. We know the quarter is ending. Who loves that we are doing things quarterly now? Because I sure do. Y'all, we are ending the first quarter, and I feel like it's the first quarter ever of Plexus, which is not, but it's the first quarter that we are actually doing this as a whole. I already had messages today saying, I'm such and such away from Success Sprints. Unfortunately, as a leader, I don't know where my team stands. There's no way for me to know. So I am telling you, reach up to your upline, reach up to your leaders, tell them where you're at and say, hey, can you help me with a game plan? Or, one girl was like, do you think it's possible I can win the MAC? I'm like, absolutely. Let's look at these points and see how you can do that. And I noticed on the table, y'all even asked for goals. If you might not have an upline that's real great with strategy, go to your team pages and ask. I promise you, people love to help with strategy. But no, I kind of skipped. Know where your success sprints are, and don't miss a Mac computer. Don't miss $150 by one person because you just weren't paying attention. And cheer on your leaders and your team so they're hitting those goals. Another thing, I'm kind of going through y'all, this is literally what I'm going to be doing tomorrow at a coffee shop, because on Mondays I go to a coffee shop to make sure I stay focused. I am going to look at my fast start. In the back office, over there to the left, you click and see how many days do people have left. I have had huge success developing leaders on my team. Many of us have, because of this Fast Start program, but it's because I keep an eye on it, and I go to, hey, Andrea, do you know if you add 2 more ambassadors by the 31st, your bonus is going to double? Again, lots of scripts there, but if maybe somebody, you don't even know what to work the business, but they're interested in getting their products paid for. So make sure these last 3 days you're following up with your team members, whether or not they want the business or not. You're letting them know the opportunity that they have to get those double bonuses. So that's Fast Start, that's Success Sprints. It's pushing that free shipping. It's pushing that dollar joining. I'm not even going to go into planning for April, but let's be honest, we want to keep we want to keep that in mind too. That will be part of my, IPA the next few days, is reaching out to people about their April plans. I'm going to end this with something I've learned recently is my time and my energy are not the same thing. And I don't know why that was such a revelation to me when I was told that my time and energy is not the same thing. And I used to think, okay, I just need to manage my time. And I was one of those huge believers that I didn't have enough time. But learning that, honestly, and I flip-flopped, and I'm fixing to see Becky Page laugh. I used to could stay up till 2 a.m. and wrote, y'all, that's where my energy, like high energy. Now, you'll find me in bed at 10, but I can set my alarm at 5 because I know my energy. And when I'm time blocking for Plexus, I know that certain things have to be time blocked in my high energy part of the day. I cannot wait till 6 o'clock in the evening to follow up with my customers. So, and someone else probably could train much better on time and energy, but for me, that is what I learned. I could go and sit and play and read books with my 2-year-old at 6 because it's not an energy sucker. It fills my cup. So find what when your high energy points are. It might be at midnight. It's okay. And it might be at 5 a.m. It might be like, I have to drink my coffee and it's noon, but plan your day accordingly. I'm just giving you a couple little tidbits and then we're going to go out. Protecting your energy, what it looks like. It's protecting your work hours. So when you time block, you're going to protect those work hours. Okay. You're not going to let and sometimes I have to put my phone on airplane mode to follow up and really stay focused. Prioritize non-work activity for play. Okay. I used to tell a lot of people, I never had work hours, but I had family hours. Times I left my phone upstairs, that this is my family hours. Schedule rest. Again, it's funny that I even say that because y'all, it has been such a struggle, but schedule rest. And guess what? I promise you, your business will thank you. The people around you in your business will thank you. Your business will grow because people will just learn. Honestly, I've noticed that people see that there is freedom in this. We're selling financial freedom, but we're also selling time freedom. And if you're always available, that is not communicating time freedom. And then just systems in place, trust the systems. And this was a hard thing because I know not all of you are on my team, but I do know everyone on this team. Your team has created systems. Corporate has created some amazing systems for us. So do not feel like you have to do it all. There's corporate opportunity calls. If your team's not having opportunity calls, there's corporate success plan, and I don't even know it because we kind of do our own over here, but we love it. Is amazing. So there are systems for you to trust. And so when you're time blocking, you can go look at those and follow those. So it's all laid out. So I'm excited about March. 3 more days. We thank y'all for coming. I don't know if I'm ending this call. So Becky, am I bringing it back to you? I'm ending it. Okay, that's great. Thank y'all for coming. I hope this blessed your heart as much as it did mine. And I say we'll meet again at the end of April and we'll talk about what's here for the next quarter. Bye y'all.